Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. Coming to you today. This is my porch time. I had said that I would speak on a particular subject today, but I've changed my mind. I wanted a little bit more time to actually pray about it because it's kind of a touchy subject. I want to make sure that I get it right, and I'll do that at a later date. I wanted to take this time to thank y'all for watching our Saturday night live streaming. We really appreciate it when y'all all chime in and start commenting. There's a lot of good questions. We really appreciate the interaction with the viewers. That's something that we were kind of hoping that would take place while we were doing this live stream. Plus our goal, like I've told y'all, is to build the community. I'm so glad that y'all are actually putting out where you're from. I've been notified by several of you that you have actually been able to hook up with people that are in your state and meet and maybe chat over the phone some and different things like that. So I'm really glad about that. I'm really encouraged by the response that I'm getting from a lot of people. A lot of people's really enjoying the live streaming that we've been doing. A lot of people have really commented on the collaboration we've done with homesteading versus prepping. We've got a lot of good positive content out of that. We're really enjoying listening to the other channels and their opinions on it. We've had a few, I wouldn't call them negative comments, but some that have questioned why we do what we do. And I guess this would be as good a time as any for me to throw something in the mix. Is that we don't prep because we think this is the end of the world. Wanda and I do what prepping we do for a couple of reasons I can mention. One is we don't hold a job. Neither one of us hold an outside job. Our job is on the farm here. And if we don't prep and we don't stock up, then we don't eat. Because the scripture says if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. Now it's not necessarily talking about going out and working on a public job. If you study the biblical times in which that was written, it actually deals with agriculture. If a person doesn't get out and raise a garden, then they shouldn't eat, is basically what it's talking about there if you look at it in the original Hebrew in which it's written in. But we prep and store up and stock what we do simply, like I said, we don't have a job, outside job, and secondly, for a life-changing event. Now, for us, a life-changing event in the part of the country that we live in could simply be a hurricane coming in, being without power for weeks on end, which we've had here. Another is like when I had surgery this past spring, we were down for quite some time, couldn't get out and do anything, so we had food stored up. We was able to keep eating. I had the instant in my life where my wife had cancer for 6 years. I had to shut my jobs down, my company down, and I had to live off of the food that we had stored and stocked up here, she and I, until she passed away. Now those are the life-changing events I'm talking about, because like scripture says, no man knows what a day may bring forth. So therefore none of us know what tomorrow holds. So the wise man lays up, how does it say? It's either Proverbs or Ecclesiastes says a wise man sees the destruction coming and he makes provisions for it. So, and that's basically the way I look at life. I see some things coming. I don't know what the future holds. So because I don't know what the future holds, it's really wise for me to stock up and prepare, because I never know if something might happen to me physically. Now I've broken so many bones in my body and been out of work for so long before that had I not had food stored up, like I broke both my ankles, I've broke my legs, I've broke my back, I've broke my neck, I've broken all these things, and had I not had food stored up, then we would have done without. So to answer that question, the prepping versus homesteading, that's basically why we do what we do here as far as prepping, is because of those reasons. One other thing I want to talk about was we live seasonally. Here on our homestead, we take life in seasons. There, like it says in the Bible, there's a time to plant and there's a time to reap. And that's kind of the way we look at it here. We are in the season right now of harvesting figs. because the figs are coming in. And then after the figs will come the muscadines. So right now, while the figs are coming in, today Wanda's been canning figs. She's been putting up whole figs. She's been doing candied figs. I mean, she does all these kinds of figs, figs preserves, strawberry figs. She does all these things, and she's probably going to be putting some videos out on some of those different processes in which she does. And you know, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about seasonal, because really, to be honest with you here, I mean, I'm sitting on the porch right now, and it is, I can look at my watch, it's actually 3:45, and it's, my thermometer says it is 92 degrees at 3:45. The heat index, around, if I had to guess right now, it says it's probably around 101, 102 degree heat index right now. So as far as growing a garden right now here, it's extremely difficult. We've got a few things that are doing okay here. Our peppers, the peppers love the heat. They're doing fantastic. Our cucumbers are doing pretty good. Wanda's been making a lot of relish, and she's got some videos about that. Our tomatoes are really suffering. We're harvesting some tomatoes, but they're suffering. Sweet potatoes are doing pretty good because they don't mind the heat. Our corn is getting ready to be in the drying stages. It's beginning to, you can pull an ear off now, and the kernels have all started shriveling up, so it won't be, won't be much longer that the stalks will be turning brown, and we'll actually go into the drying stages, getting ready for this fall. And those are the kind of things, right now. Squash is basically played out. The pickle worms and the heat and stuff like that, they've all basically destroyed all the squash. We do have a few butterbean plants that Wanda planted as an experiment, and they're doing really good. The eggplants, they're basically gone. We've harvested some of our wheat. As y'all saw on Amanda from Freedom Acres was here visiting us, and we had some wheat in the barn drying. We've found this emmer wheat that is the ancient Pharaoh wheat. We're starting to grow that here to see if we can maybe have some for our flour. We've got there's just multiple other things. If I sit here, the asparagus, believe it or not, I've told everybody we're 3 weeks ahead here, at least 3 weeks ahead on our season this year. Our asparagus already has red berries on it. Now that's something that did not happen last year until fall. So this year, I could go out there right now if I was a mind to and go ahead and start pulling the red berries off of our asparagus. The asparagus is actually starting to fall over and lay on the ground, and the berries are all turning red. Now, I don't know what that means, to be honest with you, because I'm not an asparagus expert yet. This is only my second year to be growing asparagus here, so I'm still kind of in some of the learning stages. I just know that we're early with everything this year. I walked over into the woods yesterday, and the purple muscadines are laying all over the ground. The squirrels and the stuff are just eating them. The birds are going crazy over them. Last year that did not happen until mid-August. So I keep up with stuff like that. It just shocked me to see the muscadines already in the wood. I've been working on my greenhouse. I'm in the process of doing a water catchment system on it so that I'll have water inside the greenhouse to water my plants with. There'll be a video coming out about that whenever I get to that point that it's finished. I'm not there yet. I'm just working on it because I have to work early in the mornings and sometimes late in the evenings if it'll cool off enough for me to get outside and do it, because the heat is just, the greenhouse is just unbearable to get out and try to work. I'm also working on my shoot house. I'm in the process of building a shoot house on the property here. We took down a small 10 by 10 metal building, and Wanda and I was able to take the whole roof off of it and set it over to the side, and we're shrinking this roof down to an 8 by 10. We're going to be building a shoot house up on stilts, and we're going to save that 8 by 10 roof to actually put up on the top of those posts for the roof over our shoot house where we can get it walled in, because Wanda and I are actually in the process now, are beginning to prepare for fall. Some people ask, please tell me what you're doing when you're doing it. So I will tell you right now, we're getting ready for deer season in the fall. We do it now. One way we're doing it is as soon as the corn comes out in our field down here, that field will no longer be planted in corn anymore. We're going to turn it into pasture, because we're going to be bringing in some more sheep next year, and that will give us more pasture area for the sheep. And plus, we're going to just leave that into pasture so that when it comes time for deer season to come around, we'll have a field that we can plant, and the deer will come in too, and we'll be able to harvest them. This shoot house is going to be right in the edge of that field, so that we'll have a place to get up in out of the weather and do the harvesting of a deer here on our homestead, because we do like ground deer meat here on the homestead. So that's a little bit about what we're doing there. I've also been in the mode of saving seed, because that's what I do right now in the heat. I've harvested lots of my tomatoes. I got I think it's like 8 different varieties of tomatoes on my property here. We've harvested all the tomatoes are coming in. We are putting the seeds in the containers. We're getting them where we can save them for next year's planting, or actually planting in the future. We are getting ready to, my snap beans have been sitting in the hull now for a month. I'm fixing to get ready to start hulling them out. We are saving some watermelon seeds from the yellow meated watermelons that we've grown here. The sweet orange watermelon, it's a good heirloom. We have, oh gosh, just above ground sweet potato seeds. We've got those we're saving. We're letting some of our yellow squash go for seed right now, so that we have seed for next year. There's just, I could go on and on about the different seeds that we're saving here. The wheat, and we'll be saving some of our peppers, and some, just different things. We're saving all these seeds, and I'll have some different videos coming out about how I do the processes, and what we do to store them and some stuff like that. It's just that it's just not the time of the season right now to be doing the whole thing. A lot of people have asked, well, how do you store your corn? How do you do cornmeal? How do you grind your corn? All that stuff won't come until this fall, because the corn has got to be dried on the stalks, and then we've got to make sure it's at the right moisture content in order to create these videos. So some of those videos won't come till fall. I'm in the process of getting ready to put my syrup mill back together, so we're going to have a video coming out about me pouring the bearings to go in that, and actually assembling this mill back and getting it set up so that this fall we can squeeze our own sugar cane juice and cook our own cane syrup down. I probably won't get the pan set up this year. I have a stainless steel pan, a baffle pan that what's called an evaporator pan actually, that I cook in. We probably won't get that set up this year, but we'll be able to cook it on the stove or over a fire, to cook it down for syrup. We will get that done. Oh, just, there's just lots of things we got going on the homestead here. So I just hope that we can be a blessing to y'all about some of the videos that we're putting out, and showing y'all how we do things here at Deep South Homestead. Because just like, I think it was Big Bear that made the comment on his collaboration, that we all do the same thing in different parts of the country. It's not that any one of us are wrong. It's just that what one person does in one area may not work in another area, so you get a different take on it from different people from different parts of the country. And that's really what I like about YouTube right now, and the group that we're in, is the simple fact that I'm able to see how other people are doing things in other parts of the country. I just today looked at Life in the Farmland, his video on his garden, and his garden is so nice looking. It's just so pretty. The soil looks like it's just so rich there. Looks like the temperature is right. Looks like they've been getting enough rain. The grass is just beautiful and green. It's almost envious to see that kind of stuff, because here in the Deep South, the grass is barely growing, because it's, we're breaking records here because of the heat. I was looking this morning, we are actually breaking records from the 1800s. We've been more days at night in the mid-80s than's ever been on record since the 1890s. And that's just amazing to me that our nighttime temps are staying in the mid-80s. So when we get up in the mornings, our temperatures is already in the mid-80s with the humidity. So like I said, the heat this year has went longer and harder than any other, I think they said any other period in history that they have records on. So we're actually setting records this year because of this relentless heat that it just won't go away. And as a result, we're all suffering in the gardens. Our livestock is suffering. We're having to really watch the livestock, make sure they keep plenty of water. Our rabbits is going through water constantly. Our chickens is just going through water constantly. The sheep is constantly having to fill up their water. You know, the pigs, they have a live stream where they're at, so, but they stay in the water all the time. So the heat has played a big factor this year on everything that's been going on. So I hope, like I said, I hope y'all have enjoyed, you know, watching the videos. Maybe we've been able to show y'all some of the things that we do here and how we do it to get through the heat. And in the summertime like this, when the heat's really bad, we don't do a lot of canning, but there's some canning that we have to do, like the figs. We do freeze a lot of them and do them later on, but right now the freezers are full and we don't have any room to put any more figs in the freezer. They're just packed full of stuff getting ready for fall and winter, so that when we use the stove, we also heat the house at the same time. So I don't want to keep y'all going much longer today, because it takes me, probably going to take me about 10 or 12 hours to put this video up for y'all to see. So I want to tell y'all I appreciate you and I love you. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.